The sound of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Weekdays from 10 a.m.
With Adrian Kennedy.
Now, next on the programme, I'd like to get your opinions on this. I was reading this earlier on and kind of have mixed views on it, if I'm to be honest. Do you believe that it should be illegal for people to smoke in the home if children live there? What do you think of parents who choose to smoke in their own home when there are children present, even if they're in separate rooms? Well, the reason we ask this question is cancer scientists have announced that they want to see a ban on smoking in homes, saying that children living in a house with parents smoking are 3 times more likely to develop a lung disease. Adults who were exposed to second-hand smoke in the home as children were far more prone to smoking-related diseases. Scientists have said this research proves that we need smoke-free house policies to reduce the dangers from second-hand smoke exposure. And I want to know whether or not you think that this is going one step too far, telling people what they can and can't do within the confines of their own home. We have often spoken about how, the next stage in the smoking ban is to ban people smoking in their own houses. And it appears that that's what these scientists want. They want smokers to no longer be allowed to smoke in their own homes if they have children around. And we want to know, is that going too far? Or maybe you totally support the idea of banning parents from smoking in their house. I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. You can text or WhatsApp the programme 0877 98 98 98. Lauren, you're on Dublin's 98FM. How are you, Lauren?
Good morning, I'm good.
Good morning, Lauren. How are you?
I'm good.
Now, Lauren, is this going too far to talk about banning people smoking in their own homes?
No, I absolutely don't think so. I 100% agree with it, especially if you got to have kids in the house. I think it really is child abuse if you smoke in a home when there's kids in it. I really do.
Child abuse?
Yeah, I really do. Yeah, I do. I mean, I have 4 kids. I don't smoke. I'm asthmatic, so I can't be around that like that. But my partner smokes. Now he smokes out the back, but I wouldn't even let him near the kids after we've had a cigarette. I wouldn't let him, when they were babies, I wouldn't let him handle the kids when he's after having a cigarette, and I wouldn't let him kiss the kids after he's had a cigarette, because I wouldn't kiss him after he's had a cigarette, and I wouldn't like him around the kids with the smell of it and all like that. So I'm totally against it.
Okay, and that's fine, and I get that, and I understand how you don't want people smoking around them and all of that. But is it not going a step too far to be talking about laws that will tell you what you can and can't do in your own house?
I understand that, but I think you have to kind of look at the bigger picture. Now, I don't really know anybody really that does it anymore. I don't know anyone myself that smokes in their home when there's kids around. I think everyone kind of knows the dangers of it, but the same way in a car when you're smoking with kids in a car, and I just think it's really, really bad form. I do. I think that, you can smell it. It's so bad, the smell of smoke and that. And I think for the kids to be breathing it in, I think it can really damage them, Now,
I could argue that when I was a kid, my mum and dad smoked, my granny smoked, and we'd go to her house and all of that. Did that damage me long term? Maybe it did. I don't know.
Well, I developed asthma at 18, so... and I did smoke for a couple of years when I was about 16, 17, and I developed asthma. Now, it was obviously probably underlying there, but, the smoking certainly didn't help it,
Okay, but as regards telling parents that they can't smoke in their own homes, you think that would be a reasonable law, do you?
Yeah, I do, yeah. When kids are concerned, now, obviously, if you haven't got kids, walk away, but absolutely. I mean, you can smell smoke when you walk into someone's house if they've smoked in it, recently or whatever. You can smell it, hours or days afterwards, So, I do. I think you have to put the welfare of the kids first. And if they get older and they want to smoke, then that's their choice. But, they can't choose, they can't tell you, not to smoke or whatever. They can't make that decision for themselves, so you kind of have to do it for them.
Okay, stay there for 1 second. 6797 981 is our telephone number. You can text or WhatsApp the programme on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Would you support a law that would make it illegal for parents to smoke in their own home? Parents of young children could be banned from smoking inside their house. Would you support that law? Call me right now on 6797 981. Lauren believes that it is a form of child abuse to smoke in a house with children. But maybe you are a smoker who does smoke in your own house with your own children around. Quiva, you're on 98 FM. Hiya, Quiva.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Now, you gave up smoking as soon as you found out you were pregnant.
I did. I was very young when I was pregnant with my son, and I gave up smoking immediately when I found out I was pregnant with him.
Okay, which is great.
Now, when he was about 2.5, I did go back on them for a couple of years, but before I got pregnant with my daughter, I'd given them up a year before I had gotten pregnant with my daughter, and I'm off them since. She's now 8.
And that's grand, and I assume even for the time that you were smoking, you didn't smoke around your child?
I never smoked in the house, no.
Right,
no,
okay.
I wouldn't smoke around them, and I wouldn't let anybody else smoke around them.
Okay.
And when I see people smoking in cars or smoking in the kitchen with kids running around, it boils my blood.
And people continue to do it every
People
day.
Yeah.
But like we were saying, we have a smoking ban in many places. There's very few places you can smoke now, bar out on the street. But one place that you can smoke indoors without anyone bothering you is your own house. And
but I don't think that you should.
Is it not going a step too far to be talking about banning people smoking in their own homes? No,
definitely not. No, if there's children involved, why? Like, why put them into that? Why would you do it? Like, it's neglect.
Would you
report? It's not abuse. I don't think it's abuse, but I think it is neglect.
If that law were in place, would you report somebody if you knew they were doing it?
I don't think I'd report somebody because I know who's going to police it? Who's going to enforce it? And how do you prove it? Like, you know, if you're in somebody's home, obviously they're a friend of yours or they're family or whatever the case is. Like, you know, you don't want to be falling out with people, but I do think it is neglect. I genuinely do think it is neglect. I think it's laziness, and, you know, like, I don't even like the thought of people going outside for a cigarette and coming in and holding the baby or the child or whatever it is, because it sticks to their clothes, it sticks to their hands. It's vile. And it's not like it's, you know, a vitamin C or anything that they're taking and the child's going to gain from it. They're not.
Okay, stay there because hang on for 1 second, because John, you think that this is victimising smokers yet again?
Yeah, Aidan, I have to say, I do agree that this is absolutely victimising smokers.
Now, do you smoke yourself?
No, I don't. I've never smoked, and I wouldn't be one, I wouldn't be mad about smoking or anything like that. But smokers now have been removed from pubs, removed from everywhere else, and now they're being told in their home by probably liberal scientists now that they can't smoke in their own home. I think it's absolutely ridiculous.
No, they're only saying they can't smoke in their own home if they live in a home where there are children. If you live in a home on your own with no children, smoke away.
It's essentially telling somebody where they can and can't smoke, and it's wrong. Because when you're in your own home, that's your home. At the end of the day, these people there on the phone that are saying it's a great idea are not looking at the bigger picture here, because people's liberties are being slowly taken away by these liberals and these scientists by telling them what they can and can't do within society today.
Well, Lauren, what would you say to that? That this is totally unfair. Even though this man's not a smoker, he doesn't believe we should have any right to tell people what they can and can't do in their own homes.
I think that, like, as the other girl said, I don't know how it will be policed, but I think that, like, when you have kids, you have to put, like, it's proven that smoking is bad for you. You have to put the kids first. You just have to, like, so. You know,
and if necessary, we bring in a law to force you to do that.
I really do think so, and I understand what he's saying, that, like, it is, you know, we're having laws for absolutely everything, and it's getting ridiculous. But I think when it comes to kids, some people just don't seem to put their kids first, and I think this way, you know, is letting people know that you can't do these things. You have to let the kids be brought up in the safest environment possible. I really do believe that.
Okay, but stay there for 1 second. Like I said earlier on, when we were kids, when I was a kid, people smoked in the house. My granny smoked in the house with kids around. It was never an issue. Now, having said that, I did turn out to be a smoker, so maybe that was the effect it had on me. I don't know. But anyway, the question we're asking, and in fact, I'd love to hear from anybody who does smoke in their house with children. Do those people even exist anymore? Or is it a case that smokers tend to go outside now and don't smoke in the house? But if you know somebody who does still smoke in the house with children around, I'd love to hear from you on 6797981. John says this is a step too far in terms of the way in which smokers are treated. John, can I just put it to you that this is all about child protection? It's not about dictating what people do in their house. It's about protecting children.
Adrian, when you bring this down to a level of the bottom line, these people are dictating. We have a liberal policy in this country now that is dictating to people on a daily basis what they can and cannot do. I understand where the scientists are coming from in terms of the second-hand smoking and the smoke and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, we have to look at this bigger picture, and this bigger picture is not being seen at the moment by the Irish people. Is that the Liberals are telling us how to live, eat, shit, and eat, and all the rest of it. And the fact is, it is wrong. If you're a smoker, you should not be discriminated against. And people have used the word discrimination with black people and gay people and all that. But now you have smokers being discriminated against because now they're being told by society or by Liberals, by scientists, sorry, you like a fag or a cigarette, but you can't smoke in your own home. So where are you supposed to smoke? Where are you supposed to go?
Out the back garden.
Yeah, out the back garden, that's fine. But at the same time, that's their home. Maybe they have bought that home. Maybe they feel comfortable in that sitting room smoking. So why should I or anybody else tell them where to have a cigarette in the evening, morning or afternoon?
Okay, stay there for 1 second, John. Paul, you're also against this idea. Why?
Totally bloody ridiculous, Adrian. Totally ridiculous.
Why?
First of all, like the lady there said a minute ago, how do you police it? Where do we stop becoming like a nanny state? Like, you can't have alcohol in your home because alcohol, the effects of alcohol are dangerous. Your kiddie will see you drinking. You can't have a coffee. Too much caffeine is bad for you. You can't have a coffee. Jesus, Mary and Joseph, where do we stop, Adrian? I was only told next we can't have a meat dinner by the vegans because somebody might say us eating meat. It's getting crazy. It can't be policed unless your nosy neighbour phones the police and says Paul's having a smoke in the house and there's 3 kids in there. So it's just totally ridiculous.
Or unless a social worker happens to come around and smells the smoke from your house, they might be obliged to. You see, we have very strict laws, Paul, in this country surrounding child protection. Okay, and proper order and all of that.
Absolutely.
This is just all about child protection.
I fully agree with child protection, Adrian, but it can't be policed. I mean, you can't tell people how and how they can't live. I think if you look at, I would recommend. I'm a non-smoker. I'm an ex-smoker. I was a 4-pack a day person, and I gave them up about 20 years ago. My daughter is now 24. Excuse me, and I smoked in the house. When she was so if I'm off in 20 years now and she's 24, I smoked in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But I think from what I can see now, with house parties I've gone to and with neighbours around me, a lot of smoking is done outdoors. Anyway, people kind of think, well, I have kids in the house, I'll smoke outdoors. But you can't literally have a law telling people how to live within their own homes. I know, I agree with the child protection.
And that's what. And in fact, I remember talking to somebody a couple of years ago when we were talking about the smoking ban, and they said, this person said, "What's next? I won't be able to smoke in my own house." And that's where this is going. But you think it's too far to be dictating to people what they do in their own houses?
Absolutely. I mean, that's what it's becoming, a dictatorship. And like I say, I mean, we they're talking about, I know we're going off the point, but they're talking about sugary drinks like Monster and all these things. So they'd be telling us, like, oh, you can't have a coffee in front of the children because there's caffeine in it. You can't have this. You can't have alcohol. You can't drink in the house because of the effects of alcohol. So if we start dictating how people live, where do we stop then?
All right, stay there for a second. This is a step too far to be telling adults what they can and can't do in the confines of their own home. Mark, you're on 98FM. How are you, Mark?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Mark, should we bring in a law that would force smokers no longer to smoke in their house if there are children around?
I smoke myself, and basically, yeah, you should, yeah.
So, do you have children?
I have kids, yeah. I won't smoke in the house. I go outside the house to have a smoke.
Okay, so do you ever smoke in the house?
No, never.
Never, okay.
I wouldn't even smoke in the car if the kids were there.
Sorry, say that again?
I wouldn't even smoke in the car full stop because the kids get into it.
Oh, right, okay. So, you don't smoke in the car, you don't smoke in the house, you smoke out the back garden, and that's fine. So this law wouldn't even affect you if it were to become law. But
It wouldn't affect me now, in fairness now. But, like, we're going into people's houses where they say, go on, have a smoke, like, and I'll still go out the front, and they're quite happy to smoke in their house and their kids there.
Yeah, I have to be honest, I'm the same. I've one particular friend who, as soon as you arrive at the house, go on, you can have a cigarette in here, and I feel weird, actually. I feel weird smoking in the house, to be quite honest with you.
Christmas, you shouldn't have smoked in the house.
But okay, to bring in a law that tells you what you can and can't do in your house, and I understand the law is for child protection, to stop kids being exposed to secondhand smoke, blah-de-blah-de-blah. There's obviously doubts about how it could actually be enforced, but isn't it going a step too far to be telling people what you can and can't do in your own house?
Well, listen, Adrian, if you make the decision to smoke, yeah? If you make the decision to smoke, right, it shouldn't be a law. It should be a bit of cop on.
Obviously, and I agree with you, and I'm somebody who, as a smoker, never smokes in the house. I always go outside to smoke, and so this law wouldn't affect me either. Well, I don't have young kids now anyway, but to be dictating to people what they can do in their own homes seems to be a step too far.
It's not dictating. It's basically a law of cop on. Like, you shouldn't be smoking in front of children anyhow.
Yes.
Now, if you look at it in this day and age, when I was young, everybody was bloody smoking.
Correct, yeah.
Right, when you walk down now, say if you were going to your local shopping centre or anything like that, and you see a gang of young fellas, you see a gang of young ones, 9 times out of 10, none of them are smoking.
Let me read this message. I'd love to get your reaction to this. As the widow of an alcoholic, I feel there is far more damage from home drinking than home smoking. Out of respect to my children, I can't go on the radio as they now have children and I don't want to embarrass them or my own children, but I can tell you my children suffered long-term damage from the fact that their parent was a chronic alcoholic and was able to drink unlimited quantities in our home and then cause unmentionable damage to all of us. Why is drinking in front of your children more acceptable than smoking in their presence? P.S. I am a smoker, but never smoke in the house. I did many years ago till I realised the dangers to the children. So basically she's saying that it is socially acceptable, if you like, to drink in front of children, but we're trying to make it not socially acceptable to smoke in front of children. Perhaps, and this is only my thinking on it, perhaps it's because it can have a direct impact on the child there and then. The smoke I'm talking about. I do understand what you're saying about the drink, but I think it can have a direct impact with regard to a child if there's smoke around them. Sorry, lads, who's that last call on line 1? Adam, you're on 98FM. How are you, Adam?
How's it going, Adrian?
Good, thanks, Adam. Slightly off point, but go on.
It is. If there are such laws regarding child abuse in this country, I don't understand. There's nothing really been said about child obesity. I was at the Pavilion Shopping Centre there recently and I saw an 8-year-old and he was eating an ice cream and he must have been 10 stone. I'm not exaggerating there. He had a brother who was the exact same, looked along the same age as him, and he was a stick. Now, this could be something to do with some sort of disorder this child has or whatever like that, but he's not the first child that I have seen. And I don't understand that the country is just so.
Now, I have to say, I have seen it myself. It makes me very uncomfortable to see a young child very overweight. Yeah, you can't say it's all to do with medical reasons for every single child that we see who's chronically obese. And you believe that the parents should what? Should be fined, prosecuted?
Be fined, prosecuted, whatever, something to deter them from doing it in future, or even to try. If there should be something should be done, because it's setting the child up for awful problems in the future. If it's going to be bullying, it's going to be health problems. It could be anything, but it's not going to be a positive future for them anyway.
Okay, it may be something that we'll come back to tomorrow, Adam. And in fact, if you have any opinions on it, I'd love to hear from you. You can text us now. We might follow up on it tomorrow. 0877 98 98 98. Should parents of obese children be prosecuted for child neglect? That's the question I think he's saying. Text or WhatsApp your opinion to us right now to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. One final message. Would these people argue that you should be allowed to abuse your own kids once it's done in the house? No, says John. And the point he's making is there are certain things that you're not allowed to do in your own home. And maybe smoking should be included as one of them. Anyway, thanks very much indeed for all of your calls, comments, texts and opinions. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks.
The sound of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Weekdays from 10 a.m.
With Adrian.